Hello! Conor recently shared this and I found it very interesting because I've never really heard anyone describe the mechanic of their punch this way. Let's take a read. In order to have complete freedom in your shot selection and direction, you must first gain the ability to disconnect each limb from the body safely. This is a right-hand uppercut, but notice the separation in the shoulder joint. From the rotator cuff to the clavicle and collarbone, the entire joint has complete freedom and separation. That whip of a shot is free to go in any direction. The same rule applies for every part of the body. Freedom in the body equals a freedom in the strike. Knowing Conor McGregor took a lot of inspiration from Bruce Lee as to why he strikes the way he does, let's dive into a bit of Bruce Lee's philosophy to better understand this before we analyze some footage. The more relaxed the muscles are, the more energy can flow through the body. Using muscular tensions to try to do the punch or attempting to use brute force to knock someone over will only work to opposite effect. The less effort, the faster and more powerful you will be. What Bruce Lee and Conor McGregor had in common with their strikes was relaxation, both propagating this notion, and I know that when you throw a shot and your muscles aren't stiff, you feel the extension of your ligaments and tendons. Over time, punching this way, you can actually cause injury to your rotator, deteriorating the connective tissue similarly to how you can stretch out the elastic properties of a rubber band. Not just because there's less resistance shielding your connective tissue, but also because of the increased force itself due to the increased efficiency when distributing your kinetic energy. Understanding this, we can derive that Conor is throwing a shot relaxed and the separation is the extension of his connective tissue, tendons, ligaments. He is not forcing his punch, and taking a look into his combative mindset.
And my mind is clear. You can't have evil thoughts, you can't have happy thoughts, you can't have sad thoughts, you can have no thoughts in there. It needs to be empty, you know what I mean? And it's a weird kind of feeling when you're in there because it is empty.
I said empty your mind.
He took Bruce Lee's be like water, having an empty mind, thus a present mind, thus I do not hit, it hits all by itself. The shot is a natural forward extension of the whole body, called by the moment, free-flowing, extending to the moment. Also, we can note something that isn't talked about too often when it comes to delivering a solid strike. Power is typically thought to come from the hips and pivot, and yes, for the most part, that is true. But there is a muscle that acts as a medium for that force, transferring the mass from your hips and pivot into your opponent's face. It is known as the anterior serratus, aka the boxer's muscle. The anterior serratus is responsible for rolling the shoulder forward. We can note this about every one of Conor McGregor's punches, a deep contraction of the anterior serratus, his shoulder rolling forward into the strike, transferring his mass from the ground up into that medium, where the shoulder rolls forward, baton passing mass from his hips into his arms, then fist.
It's just pop. It's just pop. It's just pop.
There's another mixed martial artist who does something very similar, although he does not have nearly the same speed. Stipe Miocic. Every time you see this man throw his punch, you can see his boxer's muscle, anterior serratus in deep contraction, almost like he's cleaving his opponent with that rolling of the shoulder. Stipe does not have the fastest punches in the division. I would say Junior Dos Santos has a faster punch and just a wider range of motion, but nonetheless, Stipe devastates his opponents with his power. It doesn't even look like he should be hitting that hard at times. Why is this? Again, as I've said, the serratus is the medium, the channel through which you direct the force generated from your hips. And so, despite the minimal movement, the slower speed, if you acknowledge the fact that Stipe is a heavyweight, his technique allows him to efficiently distribute that mass into his hands. His calm, thus lower cortisol levels, thus more relaxed body, fluidly rolling his shoulder, cleaving all that mass, thus force into your face. It looks so effortless, but as Bruce Lee has said, that is what makes it so deadly. Just watching all of this again, I hope you can appreciate not just the KO, not just the fact two people are hitting each other, it's so much more than that. The technique, the philosophy, a facet of their game that allowed them to be so effective in their discipline. Philosophy, it all ties back to the bigger picture, but that'll be for another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.
I don't just knock them out, I pick the round.